For old-fashioned recipes and your gardening needs, while sipping on Kentucky bourbon. You sit right back in your big red hat, we're taking rural back from the urban. Listen to the stories with Kentucky proud, share the giggles with all of your friends. You all are tuned in to Friends Drifting.
Hi, I'm Joyce. Welcome to episode 11 of Friends Drift In, your source for the farm-to-table movement in eastern Kentucky. Today we're talking sweet taters.
That's right.
And who have I got to be sweet with but Cole Schmidt from Blue Raven in downtown Pikeville.
That's right, the one and only.
I'm so excited. Cole is a sous chef.
That's right.
Tell me what a sous chef does.
Sous chef, it's French for under chef. I'm the assistant, all the work, none of the credit. That's the way I put it.
Yeah, you are the workhorse.
The workhorse, that's right.
What's this about?
I'm pretty. I'm too pretty.
We're talking sweet potatoes today, and we're going to talk about two different kinds. We have a white sweet potato and a yellow sweet potato.
That's right. When we chop into one of these,
chop one open.
let's get a look inside this sweet potato. This is the white.
This is the white. A white sweet potato is very starchy. It's more firm. I can hardly put my fingernails through it. You use a white sweet potato if you were going to make sweet potato chips,
right,
or something that you want to be really crisp in the oven.
Exactly.
It is a higher sweet, but it takes much longer to cook, so most people prefer the yellow sweet potato.
You're right about that.
So let's see what a yellow sweet potato looks like.
Yeah, this is what we're going to be using today.
This is much, you can see a big difference in the color. It's easy for me to stick my fingernail into. These are called Vardaman, is one of the biggest brands. Vardaman, Beauregard, or Jewel are the kind that are generally grown here in eastern Kentucky. The Sustainable Appalachian Research and Education Project is doing a research study to see if growing sweet potatoes in eastern Kentucky is economically feasible, because they don't take a lot of work once you get them in the ground.
Yeah, my parents grow them, and basically set it and forget it. They're gone. They're gone all summer.
And they love the sandy ground of eastern Kentucky. So
yeah, really easy.
It could be a real economic boost for our area.
That'd be cool.
So what are you going to do with sweet potatoes today, Cole?
Well, we're going to do ice cream first. We're going to be using, like Joyce says, we're going to be using the yellow sweet potato, so we can get this white one out of the way. Teasley. First things first, we're going to roast these. You can do them in the microwave too if you want. It's faster, but you want to poke it. That'll help things go a little faster.
So
won't
they
explode.
don't explode.
Yeah, you won't explode all over your microwave. So you poke it, stick it in the oven, 300, 350. It'll take about 45 minutes or an hour. You want to get it really soft, especially for the ice cream. You want to be nice and smooth.
When we talk about soft, usually I take a fork. I think if it's even really fork tender.
Fork tender, you want to be able to get the fork all the way through it too, especially for the ice cream, because sweet potatoes can be a little fibrous and tough. So we want to get it nice, soft, nice and smooth. It's going to make a really nice ice cream.
Right.
So we'll just say we did that. And we got the sweet potatoes out of the oven. We've cooled them off. Pureed them.
Down low. There we go.
There we go. So it's a nice, smooth, pureed sweet potato.
All right.
We're going to use that in a minute.
So we're making the custard for ice cream.
Yeah, technically this is a frozen custard and not an ice cream. Usually if you go to a restaurant and you get a choice between an ice cream and a frozen custard, go for the custard, because it's got the egg yolks in it.
Much richer.
Much richer
and much more sinful, and we like that.
Yeah, it's gonna be way better than store-bought stuff.
So what we got?
First thing we're gonna do here, I've got 10 ounces of whole milk. That's important. You want the fat, and it's 10 ounces of heavy whipping cream is in here as well. So we're gonna get this on the stove first. And we're going to click this on to no more than medium. We don't want to scorch it. We just want to get it going. How's that work?
You got it?
Do I have it?
Let me see.
leak.
It's not wanting to do. Stick it on that back burner for now.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Is it going? Is it on? There it is. It's real life. Are you all right?
I think I lost some hair.
Welcome to the barn, y'all.
Yeah, it's a party. So, now that we've set ourselves on fire, I'm going to turn that down.
Always exciting here at Friendster's.
Oh my God, Joyce. What are you trying
Barn rules,
What are you
man.
trying to do to me? All right, I got a nice vanilla bean here. Tahitian vanilla bean. We're going to get that in there with the milk and cream.
Now you can take vanilla beans, and after you've scraped them out, you can take the pods and stick them in like a jar of your sugar,
Yeah.
and it will flavor your sugar and make it really good and vanilla-y.
Put them in your coffee pot. Put them with your coffee.
Oh, hadn't thought about that.
Yeah, do it like that. So I'm going to scrape these out with the back of my knife. Get as much as you can. This stuff's
It's expensive.
It's expensive, and it goes
a
a long way. It's very potent. So I'm going to scrape up those seeds. Get those in there. You could throw the pods in there as well, but I'm not going to do it just because I don't feel like fishing them out later.
All right.
So we're just going to let that hang out, come up to a simmer. And while that's going on, we're going to get our egg yolks ready. We've got 6 ounces of egg yolks here.
Which is about how many?
Depending on your eggs, it's going to be about 7, 8, something like that. They run like 3/4 of an ounce on average.
All right. Now show us how do you separate an egg?
Well, I crack it flat surface.
Right.
That's the chef
the rule.
trick. Most people do it on the corner. You don't want to get shells in there. Flat surface, then just go back and forth in your halves.
And y'all, his hands aren't dirty. That is vanilla on there.
Yeah, it's vanilla.
Yummy.
It's playing in the mud.
All right.
There we go. So,
what next?
now we're going to cream together these egg yolks with equal parts brown sugar.
Okay.
Get that out of the way for me.
Got it.
Thank you. So I got 6 ounces of brown sugar in there. Brown sugar is a little out of the ordinary for ice cream, frozen custard, but since we're doing sweet potatoes,
It gives it a richness and that depth of flavor.
yeah,
and we like
man, it's got
layers of
that
flavor.
molassesy flavor in it. It also dissolves way easier than white sugar, so it's going to make an even smoother ice cream. Not going to run the risk of having any undissolved sugar crystals in there.
Whenever we talk about sugar, we always like to say you use a pure cane sugar rather than a set it on the table. It's on a rather than a beet sugar. Sugar beets have GMOs in them; they have been altered, and so I really prefer to do a pure cane sugar. Look for that on the label when you're shopping.
Sure thing. So there, that's all incorporated really easily. Let's just pretend that this has been on the stove for a minute. That's nice and steeped. We weren't on TV. We do let it hang out for maybe an hour covered. You could do it overnight.
Steep it, right.
Yeah, or if you're using vanilla extract, if you can't get the bean, you can just skip the whole step.
And when you say hang out overnight, you meant not with the burner on.
Exactly. You just cover it up, put it in your refrigerator overnight.
Right.
You get super vanilla-y. So we're going to go in with our sweet potatoes now.
And these are the yellow sweet potatoes.
Splash it. That's right. Thank you. Get our egg yolks in there.
Now I would have taken a little bit of the milk and put it in the egg yolks and tempered them out. Why didn't you do that, Chefy?
Because it's not hot. Because it's not hot right now.
So what we should have done if it was really hot, we would have taken a little bit of the milk and put it in here and got the egg yolks warm so that they didn't scramble.
Yeah,
correct?
or you could just let it cool off first before you did it.
Right. Either way.
But if you're in a hurry,
you don't want scrambled eggs.
No, not at all. So we'll get that back on medium low heat. We're gonna do. It'll probably take it 2-3 minutes maybe to thicken up.
All right.
We're just gonna whisk that.
So
you want to stir it pretty regularly. Like you said, you don't want scrambled eggs, obviously. The rule is thick enough to coat the back of a spoon.
Right. So we'll let that cool off. We'll be working on that for a few minutes, and while that's cooking off, we'll come back and we're going to be making a savory dish.
Yeah, we're going to do some sweet potato slaw.
Sweet potato slaw with pork sandwich. And what do you call your sandwich?
We're going to do a banh mi, a Vietnamese style sandwich, but it's a sandwich.
All right. We put pork on the back stove. Now, why pork and sweet potatoes together?
Well, you could use beef, but I like the pork with sweet potatoes. I mean, that's a traditional combination, I think, but we want to do a little bit different. I guess if I had a theme for the stuff we're doing today, it's taking fall, winter flavors, which is what people usually associate sweet potatoes with. We're going to do them in a warm weather style. We started our ice cream. That'd be good warm weather. And with this sweet potato slaw that we're getting ready to make, nice cold side dish on its own. But we're also going to do it as a topping for, like we said, a Vietnamese style banh mi. So it should be really good.
Show me how this works.
This is a mandolin.
I'm not allowed to use a mandolin,
It's the most dangerous machine in the kitchen. I've got scars on my hands from it.
We're not going to the emergency room today, despite what you heard.
I hope not. Well, we've always escaped an explosion, so we're all right. Peeled sweet potato, yellow sweet potato, like same as we use for our ice cream. Got our mandolin set, julienne setting, julienne thin matchstick style. We're gonna run off a few more of these.
You know, this is so great when you're making potato chips too, using the mandolin. Again, Charlie doesn't let me touch one, but so we talked about some of the layers of flavor as we're working with sweet potatoes. What flavorings did you put in the pork?
The pork I did Korean bulgogi style.
What does that mean?
So
bulgogi.
So I got it marinated for 24 hours in some soy sauce, some sugar, some ginger, some black pepper, some garlic, and yellow onion.
Oh, you're making me hungry. It
so
smells so good.
Very good. Makes it exceptionally tender, especially with that soy sauce. I saw you had a guy on here who did some soy marinated beef.
Oh yeah, and soy always makes it some, you know, kind of tenderizes and helps really make even a cheaper cut of meat taste like $1,000,000.
Yeah, it smells really good. So we got that going on the stove back there. Here's our julienne sweet potatoes. Sweet potato, not so good raw. So we're going to blanch this really quick.
And what blanch means?
Fast into boiling water. Salted water for the flavor and also helps it keep its nice orange color. This is really colorful side dish, so we definitely want it to keep the nice orange color.
Right.
So I'm going to go
take the plunge
straight into that. And just for a minute, we want it to be really crisp. But like I said, raw sweet potato, not that great. So we got boiling salted water going behind me. That'll be all right.
All right, we're working it. And then we're going to do an onion.
Yes, right.
Now, y'all know, if you remember back to one of the first episodes, Matt Corbin at the Blue Raven kind of messed me over on onions. Show me how it's done,
I'll show you how it's done. I'll do it better than that too, so we can have that off.
I don't doubt that.
So for this, we're going to do a julienne on all our vegetables. I got some yellow and red pepper in here, really colorful, looks good. Really nice thin julienne on those as well. We're going to julienne these red onions. We're going to go this way, and when you're doing a julienne onion, you want to kind of start at an angle and work your way up to a 90-degree angle. It'll keep you from getting big chunks. So I'm going to go nice and thin.
Fluidity of the wrist.
Yeah, smooth like that. Real smooth. Then I flip the onion over because I'm right-handed, so I can get it from this side. And the last ones are always a little tricky. But
I love using a red onion. I think it gives it just a little bit more bite, and especially if you're doing pork where you get a little bit of that fat, it just kind of breaks up the...
Yeah, absolutely. I think for the amount we're doing today, half is probably good, so we'll just do that. Get those in there.
All right.
Get that little mix, and then I'm going to go strain these sweet potatoes that we blanched. Run some cold water over them, get them cool, because this is a cold side dish.
Right.
So I'm going to do that, and you can do your thing.
All righty. To of the ingredients we're going to be using as cold progresses is sesame oil. The sesame oil is a pressed oil, and this is what a sesame seed looks like. Now down in South Carolina, they're projecting with an heirloom sesame seed. And the oil is really spectacular, has a very flavorful, so we might be able to be producing this in the South sometime very, very soon. Takes sesame grows in a hot climate. It makes a pod about this big, and when it pops open, the seeds spew out, and that's where the term open sesame comes from. Cilantro is the herb that he was going to be using today. Now, cilantro is very, they say, herbaceous. It smells kind of grassy. When you think of this season, we're right in the Lent season and into the Passover season, you think about, they talk about the bitter herbs of Passover. Cilantro is one of those bitter herbs. It's also known as Chinese parsley. The seed is called coriander. It's used for baking. And if you think of the biblical reference, when you think about manna that the Israelites had, they talk about the coriander seed. So this is a very ancient herb. It can grow here in eastern Kentucky. Usually what you do is you throw out seeds about every 2 weeks to keep it going throughout the summer. This is the typical in Mexican dishes for salsa and that type of thing. You about ready?
Yeah, ready to go. So I got sweet potatoes. I've run some cold water over them. I also squeezed out the excess water. We don't want a bunch of water sitting at the bottom of our bowl. So you can see they're nice and soft now, but they're not falling apart. So we're gonna get those in there. Now we're gonna go with a little sesame seed here. Looks nice in there.
Gives it some texture and visual interest.
Sure. And then
lime.
Yeah, for some acidity in there. Some slaws are either mayonnaise based or, vinegar based. In this slaw, the lime gives you the same acidity that a vinegar would give.
Yeah. Almost cooks it too a little bit. I mean, when you think of acidity, it gives it not only a bite, but it kind of tenderizes and almost gives it a cooked.
Sure.
So
I'm just
texture.
Using my hand as a strainer.
That's because that's the way you roll.
That's
very
the way I
cool.
roll.
Very cool.
No seeds.
No seeds. And you think of lime, we're dreaming of summer.
Yeah, absolutely. Lime, cilantro.
Lime, cilantro.
That's spring, summertime for sure.
Alrighty,
So,
then what?
Now for a little heat, sriracha. You did your research on sriracha. If you want to tell people
right?
about
Because we thought sriracha. I thought sriracha was going to be a type of pepper, and actually, it's not. It is a type of sauce. It's a Vietnamese. It's made with chili peppers. It is not as hot as jalapeno,
right?
But still got a little bit of that zing to it.
It's perfect for me. I like it because it's got heat with flavor too.
Right.
So we use it in a lot of stuff.
And comparing the heat with the sweetness, I mean, that really gives you a pop too.
Yeah, I put it on everything. So depending on how hot you like it, I think that's probably all right for this.
All right.
We'll give it a shot later on. We might use some more. A little salt.
We always use non-iodized salt. Don't
Right.
need that iodine. It just makes your vegetables turn funny colors.
That'll be all right. And will you grab me a bunch of cilantro?
How much cilantro do you want, my friend?
That'll work.
I'm dangerous
Very
today.
dangerous. I'm just gonna rough chop this cilantro. It looks nice. There's no sense
Smells
of
good.
like pulverizing it. So
You can use cilantro in salads. You think of it traditionally with Mexican salsas. What else do you like cilantro in?
I'm gonna put it on top of this sandwich too.
Yeah.
Some more, just
Oh.
a big sprig of it. Is that in there?
It has vitamin K. I believe cilantro is one of the few herbs that has vitamin K.
Oh, gotta have your vitamin K, folks. If there's anything you take from this, you gotta have your vitamin K.
So there we got the sesame seed oil.
Sesame oil. I cut this with a little olive oil because sesame oil is pretty potent
It
stuff.
does. It's got a little bit, yeah.
Pretty potent.
Kind of coats the palate.
So I'd say, what's that? Tablespoon total,
Yeah,
maybe a little bit less.
All right. Ready?
And I'd say maybe just a teaspoon of that is the actual sesame oil.
So beautiful. Let's move that forward to make sure the camera can see it.
Yeah, I'll just toss this with a fork. That'll work.
Pretty colors. Smells good.
Yeah, like I said, summertime, you got extra sweet potatoes left over because they keep forever, and you don't know, like, you don't want to have like Thanksgiving type food in the warm weather.
No.
So it's an awesome side dish. Go awesome with some barbecue ribs, probably.
Oh man,
on top
sweet
of a pulled pork
barbecue ribs.
sandwich.
Yep. We got that pork back there. Are you about ready to plate that up?
Yeah, so here we'll start the Vietnamese banh mi, which is, it's a sandwich. it's hipster for sandwich. But the one common characteristic is this baguette. It's a kind of an airy baguette, not the really dense
Not like a
kind,
dense,
but,
right.
But yeah, banh mi means bread in Vietnamese. So our pork's definitely done, looks good, smells good. First, I've got a pickled jalapeno aioli.
Now, what does aioli mean?
Traditionally, aioli is like a loose mayonnaise. It's the real deal is egg yolks, oil, salt, pepper, garlic. It's like a garlicky loose mayonnaise, but it's kind of come to me in a flavored mayonnaise.
And you put a little bit of jalapeno peppers in it.
Yeah, pickled jalapeno, actually made by Bird, our dishwasher, the man.
Wow, I love jalapeno peppers. They grow easily here in eastern Kentucky. Y'all can get the seeds locally and grow your own jalapenos.
Yeah, that's what he did.
And
He's the man.
Dry them, freeze them.
What's your dishwasher do? Wash dishes? It's 2013.
My dishwasher isn't working right now.
That's how far ahead of the game we are. Our dishwasher has skills. If I was the competition, I'd be scared. I'd be real scared.
So we've got this aioli sauce.
Slathered. You gotta slather it.
So we've got the layers of flavor. You know, this is kind of creamy, and then you're going to add the pork, which is going to be very succulent and
pork on top of it.
With a little bit of ginger and soy sauce. What else do you have in there? Ginger, soy sauce.
The shiitake mushroom stems are the kind of the weird thing.
Oh, well, that gives it a kind of a meatiness too, and really adds to the richness.
They make a difference.
Yeah.
They definitely make a difference. So you got that stacked up with some pork. I'm just
and you're going to plate it with some sweet potato slaw.
Sweet potato slaw on top of that.
And you said you were going to put it. You're going to chop a little bit more of this stuff.
I'm not even going to chop it.
You're just going to stick it on there.
Yeah, put it on there.
How pretty is that, y'all?
That's too much.
No.
That's intense. Okay. Oh yeah.
Oh, very beautiful.
Yes.
Very beautiful.
Too much. Are we gonna eat it?
Yeah, we're gonna take a bite. Slice me a little bit off there.
God, is this gonna happen? I don't know if these are meant for slicing.
You
it's
can do it because you're a clever kid.
Things you gotta get all over you.
All right, let's go. 1, 2, 3. Oh man.
It's all right, isn't it?
That sriracha really rocks.
Not too hot.
Sweet with a little bit of pepperness to it.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, baby. So we've chilled our sweet potato custard earlier.
Right.
Overnight, preferably, nice and cold. Put a shot of bourbon in it for the flavor. It also keeps the ice crystals really small,
keeps it
really creamy. Yeah, so just do that according to your ice cream maker's specifications. 10, 15 minutes or something like that. We're going to do this 2 ways today. First, I'm going to do what I call the sweet potato casserole sundae.
Oh, man.
So we're going to put this in this
I had a
martini
preview
glass.
of this at the Blue Raven the other day. Will this make it to the menu?
Yeah, I made a bunch of this, so we'll do it either way. We'll see what people like. Maybe put it out there on Facebook or something, see if they'd rather have the float or the sundae.
All right.
So I got a couple scoops in there. I'm going to drizzle this with some pure maple syrup.
It's maple syrup time. And do y'all know there's a maple syrup festival in Kentucky? I did not know this. Down in western Kentucky, they have a maple syrup festival down in Auburn. They just got it over with last week. How about that?
Get down there. Get your scissor. Candied pecans. I just toasted these in some butter, brown sugar, cinnamon, regular sugar, and homemade marshmallows.
I love this, man. And you know what? We're going to get dangerous
We're gonna
again.
torch it. We're gonna
It's a
kill
good thing
ourselves.
I'm married to an insurance man.
We're gonna kill ourselves. We're all dead. Look out.
Woo!
Just real quick.
All righty.
There you
Let's
go.
have a bite of that.
Nothing wrong with that.
Let's get in there to it. And
Got it?
uh-huh.
A little marshmallow in there.
You know, this sweet potato ice cream has got a texture to it that makes it really coat your mouth, and it's so fun.
Yeah.
And then the second item that we're doing is the
yes.
float.
Kentucky style.
And I'm really excited about this. We're using a Kentucky Proud product,
Ale.
Ale, and sassafras. And you all know that the USDA says you cannot go out and harvest sassafras. So
Sassafras.
use a
extract.
commercially produced product. So we get a little sassafras,
About a ½ ounce down in there.
and we get the ice cream.
Sweet potato ice cream. Big scoop.
Come in here,
It doesn't have to
Brandon.
be pretty. This is Brandon Teasley.
And we're throwing a little bit of this
There we go.
L8 on here.
What are we calling this?
We're just calling it a sweet potato float with L8 and sassafras.
Fancy. I call it the Fancy Nancy.
Recipes on Friends
Yeah.
Drift In website. I'm here with Cole and Brandon from Blue Raven.
That's right.
Share the giggles.
Yeah.